What if I told you there was a furry television show that thumbed its snoot at both capitalism and religion, that wasn't afraid to touch on dark themes like climate change and bigotry? Dinosaurs, that Disney family sitcom you faintly remember from the Not the Mama meme, was actually one of the most radically leftist shows to ever air on network television. It was also the final project ever developed by Jim Henson? I'm your host, Arrkay, and the fact that a 1990s Muppet sitcom is better attuned to modern societal mores than most 21st century television is culturally effed. For those unfamiliar, Dinosaurs was the final project Muppet mastermind Jim Henson and his Muppet studio The Creature Shop developed. Directed by his son, Brian Henson, it aired on network TV from 1991 to 1993 and centers around the Sinclairs, a family of anthro-dinosaurs formatted like any other traditional multi-camera sitcom. It stars Earl Sneed Sinclair, the family patriarch, thick-headed and easily suggestible by media, his wife Frances Sinclair, the homemaker, Robbie, their oldest son and often the rebel of the family, Charlene, the middle daughter and paragon of 1980s fashion and girl style, and lastly, Baby, the baby, who is very sarcastic and often the center of humor in a scene. The characters are actors in animatronic rubber suits performing in real time on stage.
Your father is not some puppet to be paraded before a national TV audience?
The Creature Shop staff described the show as shooting a new Star Wars movie every week, due to the complexity of sometimes having upwards of a dozen animatronic characters in a single shot. This is the same technology developed to animate the elaborate masks in the Ninja Turtles live-action films. While the show is impressive on a technical level, where it really shines is its progressive agenda. Unlike the supposedly edgy family comedies that are ultimately terrified of offending the status quo, Dinosaurs never chickens out or backtracks to declare both sides of an issue are equally wrong. That isn't to say it doesn't have nuance. For example, there is an episode about parenting that closes on a note of having to balance following your heart and listening to experts. Just that it never falls prey to pseudocentrism for fear of offending its audience. Dinosaurs always has a bone to pick with somebody. Over its 4-season run, Dinosaurs asks you to question capitalism, sexual hang-ups, religion, racism, the place of the elderly in society, gender norms, feminists supposedly hating men, who gets rich from war, beauty standards, for-profit healthcare, the ethics of drug use, and so on. In service of these messages, Dinosaurs never lets continuity get in the way of a good story. One gag will mention the dinosaurs weigh several tons, only to show the characters as about the size of Paleolithic humans later in the series, who are, for some reason, around in a continuity error to be ignored for the purposes of humor. The real point of any given episode of Dinosaurs is to convey a message about how we should live, through dino metaphors and stand-ins. Just like Doctor Who, no bit of continuity or historical accuracy is worth not tackling a relevant theme. In one episode, Robbie Sinclair experiments with eating plants instead of animals.
Not everybody's cut out to be a carnivore, Rob. Did you ever think that maybe you're herbivore?
No way!
It's possible!
No, not for me it isn't. My dad's a carnivore, my mom's a carnivore, my sister, boy, is she a carnivore.
Yeah.
I've gotta be a carnivore.
Well, it's not necessarily hereditary. A lot of dinosaurs eat vegetables from time to time.
Yeah.
Including me.
You're one of them? Are you sure? I mean, how long have you known?
Well, I always kind of suspected. Ever since I was 12, whenever I see vegetables,
Yeah?
I feel kind of hungry.
Jeez, Dave, I never would have guessed.
Hey, I sneak out of the house on weekends. I go to this veggie place across town.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you check it out with me sometime?
His family views being a herbivore as a grievous moral failing, despite previous episodes having vegetables on the table with no issue.
Broccoli! I could have understood a carrot or a little lettuce, maybe.
This episode even has Earl going so far as to using an in-world slur to describe herbivores as herbos. While the episode occasionally frames vegetarianism as drug use, the bulk of its metaphor is for Robbie being LGBT. Another recurrent theme is that Roy, Earl's best friend and a dopey but generally admirable guy, is a crossdresser. This isn't presented for cheap laughs. In another show, this would have been a dirty secret the episode centers around, or a one-off jokes off to the side. Here, the characters barely react to it. Roy is just a sensitive and humble T-Rex who doesn't feel constrained by the male gender role.
I see a guy with a blurred definition of masculinity.
And none of these even come close. Well, except for the guy in the polka dots.
When the in-universe TV drama Triceratops gets rewritten because the trashy television is making the whole society too stupid to function, it goes from this...
We should read him his rights.
You have the right to remain dead.
...to this.
Don't shoot. I surrender. We're not gonna shoot you.
They want to re-educate you.
You see, son? You're just the product of an alienated economic class, lashing out because you feel powerless and unloved.
You've been disenfranchised by the bourgeois power structure.
That's right.
I stole a car. I'm a thief.
Well, son, if you think about it, all property is theft.
This aired in 1991, when socialism was still very much a taboo topic for Americans. The smart version of the show depicts police violence as senseless and oppressive, and crime as a symptom of a systematic poverty, with socialism as a savvy solution to both.
We brought an evil, uncaring corporation to its knees. We're taking back the obscene profits the fat cat stole from exploited workers. Yeah, what about everybody who lost their jobs?
Hey, if folks are poor, maybe they deserve to be poor.
That would be considered boundary pushing now, let alone 30 years ago. Dinosaurs gets away with being subversive for the same reason shows like BoJack Horseman do, because talking animals are doing the talking. Human actors couldn't say or do a lot of these things, but anthro animals can. The central lesson of Dinosaurs is that we, like our saurian counterparts, are but one step removed from animals. We might live in civilization, but our instincts are those of our less evolved ancestors. It's only by recognizing our base desires that we can outsmart them. This starts at the personal level. Once you know that the reason you love junk food is because our ancestors were desperate for salt, fat, and sugar, it's a lot easier to resist. Once you see other species insecure about their tails, it's a little easier not to worry about getting that perfect body. Even the like button right here on YouTube is designed to piggyback on our brain's fondness for watching numbers increase. Pushing the buttons in your brain originally meant for resource gathering. That reminds me, don't forget to like and subscribe. The show helps us understand the same influences and absurdities on a societal level. That some social problems are just runaway instincts writ large. Greed is us lacking a status update for enough hunting and gathering. Selfishness is our genes wanting to get passed on. Preoccupation with social status is a leftover from back when being unpopular might mean you get left to fend for yourself. Society's rules are imperfect because every generation is just sort of cobbling together stopgap solutions on the fly, leaving us working with legacy systems that are sometimes thousands of years old. At its grandest scale, the show is downright existential. Ultimately, the universe has a sense of justice. That sense is us, the audience. This isn't some coincidence. These were all designed into the show by the writers and staff. In his book, It's Not Easy Being Green and Other Things to Consider, Jim Henson said this: I know that it's easier to portray a world that's filled with cynicism and anger, where problems are solved with violence. What's a whole lot tougher is to offer alternatives, to present other ways conflicts can be resolved, and to show that you can have a positive impact on your world. To do that, you have to put yourself on a limb and take chances and run the risk of being called a do-gooder. Though these days you'll probably be labeled as an SJW crybully by internet contrarians. In short, Dinosaurs surprisingly holds up today, and we should maybe remind ourselves about the important issues we face. But we can do it in a more fun, colorful way that of course includes talking dinosaurs. I have been your host, Arrkay, and if you want to help us to continue to be furry do-gooders, you can pledge to our Patreon page at the link in the description. Let us know what you think about the 90s sitcom Dinosaurs down in the comments, and thanks for watching.
Hey guys, it's Bob Rust, here with another beautiful landscape I call landscape number B. I'm using shades of white and red, but you at home, you can use any colors you like when you make your effed up art. You can use colors like red and white. Now, if you like Culturally Effed, make sure to share it and tag that special someone who you think might really appreciate our videos. If you want to support us, we got some t-shirts for sale. You can also visit our Patreon page. Some happy little brushstrokes on our landscape here. Really try and cheer this landscape up. It's looking a little grumpy. Just happy little brushstrokes.